Coming up on Marriage Today with Jimmy and Karen.
But you know, sometimes what we do in marriage is we think that because our spouse is unhappy with something about us, that they're telling us that there's something materially wrong with us and that we're defective. And we become extremely defensive, and we can't hear them say, I'm not telling you that you're a horrible person. I'm just saying, could you not cook the bacon so long? It's just the bacon, baby. Just don't cook. Do something about your snoring. I love you. I think you're at home. But you're sucking my face off. In this teaching, it's going to be hard for you to listen to everything that I say and remember everything. So I'm going to encourage you to take notes and to get the CDs and to listen to this message again and again until it gets down in your spirit, because every relationship in your life is going to be dependent upon this information. And the reason that I'm orienting my notes to the negative of the don'ts is because the Bible does. And so this is Ephesians 4, 2 texts that I'm going to read here that we're going to talk about. Paul says, be angry. Do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger, nor give place to the devil. So everything he says there, he's saying in the negative related to anger. Then he goes on, verse 31, let all bitterness, wrath, anger, clamor, and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice, and be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, just as God in Christ forgave you. And so he's talking there about how to deal with our anger. Number one, don't deny your anger. Don't deny it. Get it out in the open and admit that you're angry. A lot of people that experience anger, they internalize their anger. And a lot of times these are people that have a lot of health problems, they have a lot of relational problems, and these are passive-aggressive people. And a passive-aggressive person is not a person who gets angry and immediately they externalize their anger. And that's the way that I was early in our marriage. Is you knew when I was angry. I was not sneaky in any way, and it was very hard for me to conceal the fact that I was angry. But Karen, on the other hand, would get angry, and she would go underground with it. And what it caused was passive-aggressive behavior. Passive-aggressive behavior is dishonest behavior that does not admit its motives. But if I know there's something that I could do that you would like, I'm not going to do that. And if there's something that I do that annoys you, I think I'll do that. And so I've got anger down here that I'm not admitting, and it's changing the way that I relate to you. And so you have to get to a place in your marriage where you don't feel guilty about your anger, and you understand it's a normal and a healthy thing. I'm not going to feel guilty about it. But let me also say this. In your marriage, you have to cultivate an atmosphere of honesty. Now, Karen, early in our marriage, she could not be honest about her anger because I wouldn't allow it. I got angry. When she said to me that she was angry at me, I became defensive. I became a prosecuting attorney. I would not let her express her anger because I was so insecure and fearful. It was my problem. But we had an atmosphere in our marriage where we couldn't be honest. Let me say this now. And you have to give your spouse the right to complain without paying a price. If you're going to have a healthy marriage, I'm going to say that one more time. Now listen to what I'm saying. If you're going to have a healthy marriage, you must tell your spouse, I want you to complain to me if there's a problem between us, and you will not pay a price. I'm not going to browbeat you. I'm not going to tongue lash you. I'm not going to cut you off sexually. I'm not going to take it to my friends and tell them about it. I want you to tell me if there's a problem. And the best marriages are marriages where there is an open customer relations counter and an open complaint counter. Now, let me talk about stores for just a minute. Now, you know, when you walk into a store and you deal with the store, my favorite stores are the stores that let you complain. They have a customer relations counter. And if you need to complain or take something back, they're great about it. And so I'm thinking about some stores as I'm talking, and two in particular. One time I bought this the leaf blower, you know, that you blow your driveway off and stuff like that. And I went to the store and bought it. It's a store here locally. They have them all over America, but it's a store here locally. And they are just the most fabulous people in the world if you have a problem. And this leaf blower, I'd had it for over a year. And one day I went out to start it, and it wouldn't start. And, it was dirty, and I'd used it a lot. And so it wouldn't start. So I put it in my car to take it down to ask them if I could get another one, or they could fix it. And so I took it in and I put it on the counter there, and I said, this is broken, and I want to know, if you guys could fix it for me. It's out of warranty. It's over a year old. I know it's out of warranty. And the little gal behind the counter there said, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you bought this here. And I said, well, I don't have a receipt. She said, oh, that's all right. We sell these. And she said, well, why don't you just go get you another one? And I said, well, no, it's out of warranty. And I said, just go ahead and fix it. I don't mind paying for it. It's out of warranty. And she said, why don't you just get another one? And I said, no, like go get another one? And she said, yeah, just go get you another one. And I said, you mean pay for it? And she said, no, it's on us. Just go get you another one. I said, it's out of warranty. She said, go get you another one. I love her, and I love that store. And I've dealt with those people. They're just the nicest people on earth. And I'm saying, if you don't have your receipt, as long as you got it from them, they're so nice to deal with. They don't browbeat you. They don't make you feel bad. I feel safe dealing with stores like that. Anybody know what I'm talking about? I love dealing with people like that. But there's another store that I'm thinking of. And this particular store is a store that I'll never go in again. I cannot stand to go in there. I went in there for years just kind of because I had to. But the last time I went in there because somebody gave me a shirt. And so I took this shirt and I put it on, and it was a size shirt, but it was just too small. And Karen had already pressed it. I said, Karen, would you mind pressing the shirt? Because I think I'll wear it. She pressed it. I put it on. It didn't fit. I took it off. I put it back in the box. And I walked into the store to ask them if I could just exchange it for one that fit. So I walk in the store. I put it up on the counter. There's this young man standing behind the counter. I said, hey, listen, I got this shirt for my birthday. It doesn't fit. And if you don't mind, I'd like for just to exchange it for one that fits. And he opened the box, looked at the shirt, and said, this shirt's been worn. And I said, no, it hasn't been worn. I said, my wife pressed it because I was going to wear it. But it hadn't been in the cleaners. It hadn't been worn. I just need to exchange it. And he said, yeah, it's been worn. I said, no, it hadn't been worn. He said, we don't take back used merchandise, sir. And I said, that's not used. It's brand new. Someone bought it for me. My wife pressed it. It's not used in any way. And he said, yeah, it is. I'm so thankful for his sake that I know Jesus. But because I'm telling you what, if I was not saved, his pretty little self, I'm just telling you. So I just looked at him, and he said, well, I'll get my manager. So he walked off and got his manager. He brings his manager back, and I'm standing right there. And he brings his manager back, and he says, this man wants to exchange this shirt, but it's been worn. I'm standing right there. And I said, no, it has been worn. And I said, it's a brand new shirt. My wife pressed it, but it hasn't been worn. So his manager, never acknowledging my existence, his manager takes the shirt out of the box, holds it up, examines it in the light, and then sniffs the armpits. He sniffs the armpits to make sure that the shirt has been worn. Again, never acknowledging my existence, he drops the shirt and said, well, give him another, and turns around and walks off. It's like, well, thank you so much. And I hate that store. I don't care how good their merchandise is. I don't care. I do not like being treated that way. I feel unsafe giving them my money. And I don't want to encourage their stinking attitude. I just don't like it. I feel good going into stores where if I need to complain, I feel safe complaining. That's exactly the way marriage is. Let me say this. The purpose of marriage is to meet each other's needs, because if you could meet your own needs, you wouldn't have gotten married. We marry because we can't meet our own needs. I need you to help me out here. And so the right kind of a marriage is this kind of a marriage. Hey, baby, I'm your favorite store. You know what I'm saying. And I'm trying to make this your one-stop shop. I want you to be happy. I want you to be fulfilled. And I understand that you can't meet your own needs. I understand that there are needs in your life that I need to meet. So listen, I'm trying, but I don't always understand you because you're different than me. So hey, listen, if I'm not doing a good job, would you tell me? I'm not saying that I'm always going to agree. But I always will give you the right to complain with dignity. with dignity. The best marriages are marriages with an open customer relations counter that you will not have to pay a price to tell me that you're hurt, you're frustrated, you're disappointed, you're angry, that you can get all your emotions out and I'm not going to lose my cool. Because I'm not going to take it personally. See, but here's the deal. When I went in to take that leaf blower back to that lady in that store, I didn't say to that lady, there's something wrong with you, there's something wrong with this store, that you're defective, you're materially defective, and your people are terrible because this leaf blower is broken. The only thing I did is I walked in and put the leaf blower down and I said, I've got a problem with this right here, could you help me out? You know what the wonderful thing that she did? She didn't take it personally. But you know, sometimes what we do in marriage is we think that because our spouse is unhappy with something about us, that they're telling us that there's something materially wrong with us and that we're defective. And we become extremely defensive, and we can't hear them say, I'm not telling you that you're a horrible person. I'm just saying, could you not cook the bacon so long? It's just the bacon, baby. Just don't cook. Do something about your snoring. I love you. I think you're a hunk. But you're sucking my face off. See, I'm just trying to express that I've got a problem. Don't take it so personally. Don't be threatened by this. University of Washington, 4 predictors of divorce. They can predict divorce with a 93% accuracy based on 4 factors. Number 1 is criticism, a spirit of negativity in a relationship. Number 2 is defensiveness, not allowing your spouse the right to complain is the number 2 predictor of divorce. And so what you have when you will not let your spouse complain, it doesn't mean that there aren't problems. It just means everything's bottled up and can't be expressed. There's a white elephant in the room you can't talk about. The best marriages are marriages where you cultivate an atmosphere of honesty. Don't deny your anger, and don't make your spouse deny theirs. Let them know, I want to please you. I want to improve. I want to learn. And I want you to help me out. The teaching that you just heard is a small part of the full Return to Intimacy series. And we want to put this entire series, the CD series, into your hands for your gift of any amount right now to support us here at Marriage Today. You know, this is a ministry and a mission that goes across America and around the world. We want to be able to come back to you and also go to others. And for your gift of any amount, we'll send you the full series called Return to Intimacy that talks about anger, dominance, fear, you know, how to establish intimacy in your relationship. It's an important teaching. But also for your gift of $90 right now, we'll send you the full DVD series so you can watch it. Maybe as a couple, maybe in a Bible study, maybe in church, or maybe you want to give it to somebody. We'll send you the full 5-part DVD series, Return to Intimacy, along with our one devotional book. The one devotional book is such a neat book because it will take you through 52 different teachings. You can do it once a week in your date night. You know, you can look at it by yourself, individually, or as a couple, whatever, but it helps you to grow in your marriage every week, to have something to sit down and just look over and just remind yourself of certain things in your marriage. The Return to Intimacy series plus the one devotional book, these are powerful resources to help you to grow and have the marriage of your dreams. We want to put these important resources into your hands, and here's how you can get them.
Regardless of your past, you can return to intimacy. In this power-packed teaching series, Jimmy Evans shares the 4 elements of intimacy, how to resolve conflict, the most common issues that destroy marriages, and the secret to restoring and staying in love.
Intimacy means on the inside we're close. It also means complete mutual awareness. It means I know you.
For your gift of any amount, we'll send you the entire 5-part Return to Intimacy series on CD. For your gift of $90 or more, we'll send you the 5-part series on DVD plus the one devotional book, a 52-week couples devotion guide. Embark on a journey that will dramatically increase the intimacy in your relationship like you've never experienced. Whatever your situation, you can return to intimacy.
I love doing that teaching on helping people to understand giving your spouse the right to complain, because we didn't do that, Karen, early in our marriage. We didn't know how to talk. We didn't know how to talk about our problems.
We knew how to yell.
We knew how to yell. And we were so terrible at dealing with our anger. And what we did is we would go for 2 or 3 months or 4 months and kind of, stockpile issues. And then some stupid little thing would happen and we'd have World War III.
Yeah.
And then finally you'd say you're sorry, we'd make up.
It's right.
Yeah.
I did.
No, I'm joking.
No.
we would, make up, and then it would happen again. And it was just and really that's why we got to the point where we were numb.
Yeah.
And we didn't know, we just really had a question on whether we could continue in our marriage, because it was damaging.
I agree.
Us. But we, Lord, by God's grace, we got to the point where we began to understand how to talk and how to deal with our issues. Everybody deals with issues. We still deal with issues. You have to continue to understand life happens. There's an evil devil. We live in an imperfect world, and we're imperfect people. And so it's a moving target. Once you get this thing worked out, things change. And so you're going to have problems. But we have some questions, Karen, from our viewers. And I love this first one that this lady asked.
She says, my husband gets angry on occasion, but he's not abusive. What can I do to help the situation without upsetting him more? Teresa in Georgia.
It sounds like a pretty good guy there. I mean, really, well, he gets angry on occasion, so that's true. He's not abusive, okay? And she's asking what she can do. Okay? But first of all, anger is normal. The Bible says, Ephesians 4 says, be angry, but don't sin, and don't let the sun go down on your anger. So it says be angry, and that means own your anger. I think her question by saying, my husband gets angry at times, okay, great. There's no problem with that. See, in functional families, you talk and you own your feelings, and you're not afraid of feelings. But one of the hallmarks of dysfunctional families is silence.
Right.
We can't talk. There's an elephant in the room and we can't talk about it. And so I think to help your husband, what I would say is, honey, if you need to talk to me about something, if I'm doing something that's irritating, you just talk to me. But don't bottle it up and get too angry. Of course, he's not abusive. I think what she's saying is his anger is maybe more than she feels like is healthy. Okay, just tell him, don't let it bottle up inside of you. When you find that you've got something going on in there.
Well, and
just talk to
I've
me.
said this before. I think it helps to validate how they're feeling. You know, just say, hey, gosh, I can't imagine, that must have really made you upset, or, validate that there's a reason that he's feeling that way. Yeah, I remember one time I was getting angry over something that, I couldn't figure out why I was getting so angry. And I was just kind of quiet. And it was just like the Holy Spirit said, because it's painful. And I didn't realize that every time this one situation would come up and I'd get so angry and so frustrated, it's because it's touched a place of pain for me. And, there may just be an issue with him that it just kind of touches that pain that he doesn't want to talk about, maybe.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, I've got a question for you.
Good.
It says, my wife frustrates me. I tend to have pent-up anger. How do I talk to her in a kind way that won't offend her or set her off like World War III?
Okay, so paraphrase that for me.
Well, he's saying that he has a tendency to have pent-up anger. Okay, and so how can he talk to her when he's angry where it doesn't set her off? And this is what we're talking about. This is what we did, is I would get angry and then I would communicate with you in such a way that it would set you off.
Well, I think for you and I, what we realize in our relationship when we talk about stuff is we'll have a tendency to either communicate it that way or hear that it's a personal attack.
Right.
When it's not a personal issue. It's this is what's going on, and and I'm just upset about it. But sometimes when a person has a strong personality, like this guy sounds like he might have a strong personality, he might come across so forceful with the way he talks, or the way he's expressing himself, and then he kind of steps over in the boundaries of and it's your fault. He may not be saying it, but that may be how she's feeling. Yeah.
Well, when he says pent-up anger, you can smell anger before you can hear it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when your anger is growing, it shows on your face. It shows in your attitudes. You begin to withdraw. And what can happen is she then doesn't know how to interpret that. And she's saying, I don't know, he's kind of giving me dirty looks. He's withdrawing from me. And then all of a sudden he comes at her. One of the most important things in communicating anger is this, any emotion, but especially anger is, this is how I feel, but I'm not accusing you of anything. Mm-hmm. Okay, the problem with when you begin to talk to your spouse and you're angry, and you said, you did this, and you did this, and you did this, they feel attacked. Mm-hmm. And immediately you become defensive. It's kind of like, I've got to protect myself here. But a different way to communicate is to say, honey, I don't know what you meant by this. You probably didn't mean anything by it. Mm-hmm. But this is how I'm feeling. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not saying these feelings are right. I'm just saying, when you do that, this is how I feel. Would you help me to process that? And then, like you said earlier, Karen, validate that. Mm-hmm. As a spouse, to say, I didn't mean to do anything like that, but B, I validate that you're angry, mm-hmm. and let's talk it through. That way, no one feels threatened, no one feels attacked. But when you come in with your guns blazing, mm-hmm. and you let the anger grow too long, that's why, again, be angry, don't sin. Don't do something unrighteous and then blame it on your spouse, okay? Don't sin and justify it. Don't let the sun go down on your anger. Deal with anger every single day, and when you deal with it, just sit down in a pleasant tone, mm-hmm. not attacking your spouse, and just saying, honey, can I talk to you about something that happened today? I don't know what you meant by this, but I just tell you, this is how it makes me feel. Everything's going to be great. Now, we have another question that we're going to ask after this break now. We hope this is helpful to you. You know, we love giving away what God gave us. We were on the brink of divorce. We're here by the grace of God, and we know it. And we have nothing but compassion for people who have failed in marriage and are failing in marriage or just struggling. It might not be that you're on the brink of divorce, but it might just be that you're really struggling with some issues, and this anger and communication might be a part of that. We're able to come to you on this program because of people who stand with us financially. 100% of what we do comes from donations from viewers. We're asking you to consider, if you've been touched by this program, we're asking you to consider supporting us financially. And one way you can do that is by becoming a monthly partner. Our monthly partners are called Rock Solid Partners. They give every month, and for that, they get a special resource. And they are precious to this ministry, and because of them, we're able to go across America and around the world. Karen and I are asking you to consider being financial partners with us here at Marriage Today, and here's how you can do it.
Marriage. Family. This is the foundation of our society. But this foundation is under attack. Across the country and across the street, marriages are crumbling. Young men and women are questioning the value and purpose of marriage, and children are suffering the heartache of divorce. But regardless of how dark, how difficult it may seem, with the right teaching, the right training, the right commitment, every marriage has a 100% chance of success. Join us by becoming a rock-solid partner today. Together, we can help shape the future of marriage around the world. For $14, $28, or $56 per month, you can get the tools you need to succeed in marriage, including online access to the Dream Marriage Library, CD and DVD lessons shipped to your door, and exclusive partner perks. Become a rock-solid partner today.
Welcome back. Jim, we have another question, and this one's from a single mom, and she writes about having two boys that sometimes they are expressive when they get angry. How can you teach kids to handle anger? From Amanda in Alaska.
Wonderful question. First is example. And our parents are the most profound examples to us to teach us how to process problems. Problems with people, problems with our own emotions, and things like that. Now, one of the things that we teach in different teachings here at Marriage Day is on iniquities. An iniquity is a tendency toward a behavior because of the behavior of your parents. Our parents have the greatest influence on us, bar none, of any people in our lives. When you grow up around someone who deals with their anger properly, and you see your parents deal with conflict in a good way, you see them deal with people in a good way, you learn from that. And that means you grow up straight. The word iniquity means bent. It means you have a certain bent in your behavior. Anger, verbal abuse, violence, sarcasm, cursing, bottled up anger, fits of anger and things like that. And when a child grows up and doesn't see anger dealt with properly, Your parents never talked about anger. You know, they never talked at all. They just bottled it up, or they threw dishes and screamed at each other or hit each other, whatever. That is the mismodeling, and unfortunately, it becomes a tendency in our own lives. In other words, the kids have the tapes going. You wish they didn't, but they've got the video and audio tapes going, and they're learning from us because our job is to train them properly. So number one, as I would say, be a good role model and just ask yourself the question of, how do I deal with anger? Mm-hmm. Do I yell? Am I a yeller? Do I talk about my feelings, and am I honest about them, or do I bottle them up? So that's number one. The number two thing is pastor your children. You don't have to have a degree on your wall or to work for a church or something to be a pastor. Being a pastor means listen to your children talk. Listen to what they're going through. And you were fabulous at this, Karen, when our kids were growing up. Because I can't just so many times I remember you following the kids into their rooms. You knew they were upset. You knew they were dealing with a problem. And you would go in and sit on the end of their bed and talk with them and laugh with them and cry with them until they resolved it. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, they're hurt, you know, they're frustrated. Don't let them internalize that.
Well, I was thinking, too, in this situation, she's a single mom. So obviously there's been a divorce or an absent father. And not necessarily in her situation, but in most, the children are angry. Yeah. And it's basically because of the divorce, the separation. Right. And so then, you know, she may need to seek outside counsel or help. Exactly. Because, and especially I think it affects the boys. I think they have more of a tendency to have the anger issues, where the girls might be more, you know, depressed or, you know, quiet or whatever. A boy, you know, he doesn't know how to express his emotions of not having his dad around. And, you know, and so there's probably some things here with their particular situation, and those that are hearing this question, that you had a divorce and you might need to have someone who can sit down and talk with y'all about how the kids are feeling from what they went through in that divorce.
Absolutely. And that's a great point, Karen, about getting outside counseling. Single moms are powerful in their prayers and in their influence. And just because the dad isn't there doesn't mean you can't do a lot. Mm-hmm. But we hope that's helpful to you. And we hope that this program today on talking and being able to express your feelings to your spouse, we hope this has been helpful to you. Good being with you today. We hope you'll come back next time for more Marriage Today. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Marriage Today with Jimmy and Karen. Support Marriage Today with your best gift and receive the series Return to Intimacy. Looking for your next great book? Start reading instantly with Marriage Today's ebooks, now available online. Happy, Happy Love will supercharge your marriage with practical tips, wisdom, and inspiration for every stage of marriage. Visit happylovebook.com. Follow your interests and get social by connecting with Jimmy and Karen and the Ministry of Marriage Today on Twitter. And don't forget, become a rock-solid partner and receive the Dream Marriage Library. There's a rock-solid partner level to fit every need.
This program is made possible by the generous support of our faithful partners.